Hey viewers, welcome to a quick review of last week's Killteam battle. We're into the second level, I suppose you could call it, into Myth Drea'Voor, following a storyline where our group of heroes walk and explore their way through this dungeon that I've created. It's going to have multiple levels. It's all broken down into little episodes, which I started off doing just as a short narrative stop motion session I should say, and now I've sort of built that into a Killteam type battle. Still trying to work on the actual format of it. Hopefully it's coming off alright, but I think it's working with the sort of the aerial view, and then having these sort of comic sections where there's sort of like pow, bam, crash, different effects as the battle goes forward. So hopefully you're enjoying it. I'm just going to have a quick look at the board now, because at this stage I haven't actually started the battle, which you would have watched last week. So I'll just show you what I'm thinking as I'm putting it together. So I stayed up last night and sort of put together the board. So this is the board you would have seen last week. So the idea here is we've got our group of heroes, which I always keep just sitting up here in the reserve section up here. I've got this guy here who's just another squat modified space dwarf who's got a flagon there, so I'm going to try and build him into it somehow. Don't know exactly how yet. So that's our group up there. So the idea here is this is the long hallway from our map, and they basically meander their way down this hallway. I'll try and just use my first person view as I do the battle, which you would have seen last week. Anyway, the idea is they get to this little door opening here, and inside here is a tavern. So in here we've got little tables and chairs set up, which if you look really closely you can see little mugs of ale, things like that. We've got more over here. Everyone's sitting around and listening to the lovely tunes being cranked out by these guys over here, some Orks. Don't know what their tunes are going to be yet, but kind of limited because I'm really only using free YouTube music. I'd love to get some more different types of music, but all that stuff hits all those copyright issues and I get red flags on the channel, and it's just too hard, so I'm sort of limited a bit unless anyone comes up with any better idea. Anyway, over here is our Ork kill team. I'll be doing, you would have seen introductions on those guys in last week's battle, but they're all sitting around the fire drinking some whatever Orks drink, I don't know, it can't be too good. I'll bring that squat guy in, this guy back here. I'll bring him in there at some stage, like I said. So he's going to come in, having a bit of a gathering here. There's a bar sitting up the back here with a few people drinking at the bar. So they walk into this room through that doorway over there, some sort of event, and then there's a bar fight, basically Orks versus our team. And I don't know what's going to happen as far as that battle goes. You'll have to watch the video to find out, and then obviously they'll make their way down further into the next level of the dungeon. So that's the layout of the board so far. We'll see what happens as the battle progresses. Right, I'm at the stage now where I've done the setup and the introduction for the battle, which you saw last week. And I really enjoy this part, these Killteam battles. I haven't actually uploaded anything at this stage, but I'm really hoping that they sort of come off alright because it's so much fun to do. And not that I don't like the big battles, it's just the smaller stuff. You can sort of get more personalised with each sort of model, and you get to have a different type of narrative event with it. So I'm enjoying the Killteam stuff thoroughly, so it's great fun. Anyway, enough of me, let's look at this board. I've just done the introduction. So we had the musicians sitting on the stage up here, playing away. Like I've said, I haven't actually worked out the exact storyline at this stage, but you know, this is just what I'm thinking. So they were playing on the stage up here. We have a squat or an old space dwarf who's been enslaved to serve behind the bar here to these orcs, and you know, they're all at the various tables drinking away, and he's serving behind the bar. He hasn't got, even though he's got a gun, he's got no bullets, and they let him hold it because, you know, it just adds to the effect, I guess. Anyway, so suddenly our dwarf hero, Patrick Mead, over here, this guy, he says he recognises his mate over here, his friend, ally. Haven't got a name for him yet because he's probably not going to last too long in the battle in the season. But anyway, he sees him behind the bar and yells out, drags the attention of the entire orc crowd over here, and then they basically get exposed and they come out through that doorway over here. Meanwhile, our orc commissar character, who I think I'm going to use him later, and our musicians basically saw what was coming and fled through a window, what's meant to be a window over there, broken window. Forget the fact that if you look at the map that there's rocks all around there, it's not really accessible, but that's sort of a detail that sort of overlooked. But anyway, they found a way out through that window, out into wherever. I'll pick them up in the storyline later. Anyway, so our space dwarf here continues serving behind the bar while the battle is going to continue. So we've got a variety of different orcs here with different weaponry, and we've even got some squigs up here ready to cause some damage. So we've got our heroes over that side, orcs over this side, kill team battle. Let's get it on. Anyway, first turn coming up shortly. Turn 1 and the bar fight is on. We've had our heroes burst through the doorway here and see the orcs milling around the bar and abusing that poor old space dwarf who's hiding behind the bar over there. And Patrick Mead over here, incensed with rage, wants to help his kin over there somehow. So comes bursting out into the bar area. So what we had here is we had Vince Mogler, who's lurking in the shadows over here behind this forge, and we had Familia of the Abyss stay here as well, and she fired some of her psychic abilities and took out one of those squigs that are pretty much there for decoration. And then we had our Custodes, Victor Palladius, go charging out into behind this column there, trying to take some cover. We had Tao on Zin take a position behind the Custodes, trying to make him survive. This time he died not died, but got injured in the last battle. Here we had Jethro Gibson just take a position, really doing nothing out in the middle of nowhere. There's no cover for him, so he's pretty exposed. Had the Inquisitor try and take a shot at this orc over here, and this orc over here just basically turned the table over, used it as cover. So I'm going to try and have some graphics there where the table takes some damage. Like I said, Patrick Mead's behind this here, the grot over here. How rude. He shot and took out a mug of ale, so he's not impressed. So I don't know what he's going to do there, but probably make him angry and go and crack some heads. But one flagon of ale down. Over here we had Don take a position over near these tables over here, and then found out he couldn't really target anyone up that way, so it's really in the middle of nowhere, but no doubt he'll move into play next turn. Over this side of the board, like I said, we had the grot take out a mug of ale there. We had this orc here have a shot at the Inquisitor. Come on, focus camera. or may anyway. We had these Orks just basically move into position along here. This one up here's got the melee weapons, and it didn't do anything. It basically, like I said, just threw the table over and hid behind it. Flamethrower, burner boy there didn't do anything. We had these units here try and fire at Victor over there, but sitting there in his golden Terminator armour, he can just shrug off that Ork fire. That's nothing for now. And we had that, I can't remember what they're called, runt herder. Basically have to give up his seat at the bar over here and start running towards the enemy. So he's probably had too many ales and didn't really bother about cover, just sort of charged in using his squigs as cover. So we've really only lost one squig this turn and one mug of ale, and that's what we've got at the end of turn 1. So we'll get into turn 2 coming up shortly. Hey viewers, here we are at the end of turn 2, and the heroes led by the Custodes shield captain have gone first, but looks like the Orks have made the most damage this turn. Let's just walk through what's happened here. We've had Victor Palladius, he was back here, basically charge forward and try and get in amongst these ranged Orks at the back here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. They're just sitting back firing at the Custodes. They actually did a fair bit of shooting this turn, but true to the nature of the Orks, the Custodes is still standing, even though he's taken a few shots. We had the Tau try and fire a psychic attack at that Ork there, to no avail. We had this Ork over here, the runt herd, basically come and take out Familiar, and I think that's the second time in a row that she's died first. I don't know what that means, but anyway. We had Ven Smogler do his thing. He basically snuck around here, keeping to the shadows, ready to jump out and try and assault someone from behind, as you do. We also had Jethro Gibson come here, and he released his Cyber Mastiff, who charged in and ended up getting smacked, getting killed. So wasn't such a good move, but that's what he did. We had Carmen, the Inquisitor, try and fire and take out an Ork there. Didn't do that. We had the Dawn shoot and not take out the Gretchen that's sitting there. Very resilient Gretchen, that one. And we had Patrick Mead, but trying to get into melee combat range, but not this turn. So he'll move into next turn. So really we've had a few casualties. We've had both squigs taken out and Familiar and the Cyber Mastiff. So not too many at this stage. Now in this battle, what I'm doing is I'm actually leaving the bodies on the ground. I don't know if that's going to work out better or worse, but I'm going to give it a crack and see what happens. But I've got a feeling there's going to be some more casualties coming up in turn 3. That's coming up shortly. Here we are at the end of turn 3, and there are bodies everywhere. The only person who's doing the best is our squat hero behind the bar over here, who's happily drinking away as everyone kills each other. The Orks had first crack this turn, and where do we start? We had Gretchen fire at Don over there, who turned over that table and hid behind it, defending it. There's a lot more bodies on the ground here, even from turn 1 and 2. I'm leaving them all around the place, so I'll cover this in a minute. So we had Patrick Mead charge in and take out that Ork there. We had this Ork charge in and take out Jethro. Probably not doing this in order actually. as to how it happened, but it's getting a bit tangled with all the bodies on the ground. These orcs here, two came up, they were behind this pillar over here, they just moved up here behind this table area and they fired into the Inquisitor, who's now taking a bit of a nap. We had this orc as well fire in as well and take her out. Two melee orcs charged our Custodes champion and took him out, but one got killed in the process. The runt herd over here charged into the tower, but then Smuggler came up behind out of the shadows, stabbed him in the back, as you do, and saved the tower. So that was a pretty good move there from Ven Smuggler. So overall we've got a few casualties. Our heroes aren't doing so well. We've got Carmen down, we've got Jethro down, we've got Familia down, Custodes down, and yeah, it's looking pretty bleak, but anyway, the Orks are holding up well. Alright, we've got turn 4 coming up shortly. Here we are at the end of turn 4, and while doing this turn I really feel that I've made a fair mess of the board. I suppose regarding the casualties, I used to take them off the board after each turn, but I left them on for this time. But it's just a little bit confusing as to what's been happening. We'll see how it goes because I haven't actually started editing this yet, but we'll wait and see how it's going to come out after I edit it. Okay, let's look at the board. So we had the Jacaro here stay here behind this cover and fire upon the advancing orcs. I basically fired into that group there, because in this group here we had Ven Smuggler take out the advancing boss there, which is a good effort. We had the tower there, fire into these orcs in here. They've done pretty well behind that board, that table there. Just turned over, it's taken a fair bit of damage. We had Patrick Mead take out the Gretchen fairly easily over there. And that is it as far as our heroes team goes. There's not much left. Over here for the Orcs we had Burner Boy try and take out the Jacaro, the Don. Didn't do it. He also took fire from this Orc here. They can't really hit much. Likewise over here, these guys behind cover couldn't take out the tower, and the other melee unit over here tried to advance into melee range but couldn't quite make it. So I suppose a couple of casualties for the Orcs this turn. It kind of evens the ledger a bit, but still waited for the Orcs. We've only got 2 turns to go. Turn 5 coming up shortly. Turn 5 in the ruins of the Tavern of Myth Drea'Voor. There are quite a few bodies on the floor now at this stage of the battle. I really am getting tired of leaving them on the board. I have to do it because of seeing how it goes to this battle, but next one I really don't think they'll be there. Anyway, it looks like a lot of casualties on the floor, but looking over here we've seen the tower and Ven Smuggler come in and try and take out that Orc there, but no one got killed, so that battle is ongoing. Patrick Mead went toe to toe with that gat wielding Orc there and didn't take him out. He's already cleaned up quite a few. Over this side we had the combined fire from 1, 2, 3 Orcs finally taking out Don, who's taking a bit of a nap over there. So really at this stage we've only got one more turn to go. It's looking pretty bleak for the Alliance. We've only got 2 there, 3 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. So there you go. It's looking pretty bleak. We'll see how the battle concludes. We've got turn 6 coming up shortly. Okay, that's the end of turn 6. We've had our final turn of the battle and the heroes have lost. We've only got 2 heroes remaining. They had a battle just there with that remaining orc. They took it out, but poor old Patrick Mead over here was left to fend off 3 orcs by himself and just succumbed in the end. So what I'll do now is I'll have a little story segment where I get the dwarf over there involved. He'll serve drinks to the winners and then he'll extricate himself from that scene, come and rescue the rest of the guys here, and then they'll move out into the hallway here. What I'll do then is dismantle the board and use those walls to build up the corridor here, make it look like a good looking, hopefully, corridor, and then I'll have our heroes move along here down the corridor to the next instalment of Caverns of Myth Drea'Voor. So there we have it. That is Battle 9B. We've got Battle 10 coming up next week. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Thanks. Bye.